Hi folks, this is Chris Voss from thechrisvossshow.com, thechrisvossshow.com. Be sure to check back daily. The thing I want to talk to you about here, you may have been hearing a lot about Google Voice. Great thing about Google Voice is they recently allowed it into the Apple mobile app store for iPhone and iPad. So if you recall, about a year or so ago, Google Voice and some of the FCC people and Apple got into a little spit over allowing this onto their iPhones. And recently Apple changed its standards to allow different things like Flash and Google Voice to get onto their phones. And you'll probably see why for very good reason, because it's an incredibly beautiful app. It's a little different than Skype. Skype is still a great program you can hold on to. But let me acquaint you with Google Voice. On Google Voice, I was probably one of the early progenitors of this. I had the original Grand Central, I think 3 or 4 years ago is when I first got it. Shortly after I'd gotten it, Google Voice took it over as a site. It kind of sat around for a while. Didn't seem to be doing much other than operating on a very minimal basis with no one else being able to get on it. And you know, up until recently it's been rolled out, and it looks like it's being positioned to possibly be a Skype competitor. We'll have to see, I suppose. So let's talk about what Google Voice is. Now, Google Voice is pretty cool. It kind of works as a voice messaging inbox and control box, but it also works for texting people and also calling them. And we'll talk about how that works here in a second. One of the reasons I can highly recommend Google Voice to you is if you have an online business or a blog, maybe you're a woman who's very concerned about publishing your number. You could even use this if possibly you're a movie star or someone of that nature. Google Voice is pretty cool where it gives you a virtual number to work from. And with that virtual number, you can call people, they can call you, you can put it out on the internet and not have a problem. Now, recently I had someone who got my number off the internet and for some reason decided to be very ugly with me in some text messaging. So the beautiful part of Google Voice was not only being able to block their call, which is very hard to do on most cellular carriers or phone carriers. I was able to block the caller, but check this out. This is pretty neat. When they tried to call again or text me again, here's what they go ahead and hear in the not in service message.
We're sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
Pretty nice if you decide that you don't want someone calling you anymore. You just give them the message that your phone number is disconnected. Unfortunately, they're the only person with that phone number who will be receiving that voice message. The rest of your voicemail people will come through your system. So it's pretty cool. I love it for that reason alone. It gives you a way where you can give out your phone number across the internet very freely, and you don't have to worry too much about people going crazy on it because it's very easy to block them. Now, there's a whole mess of stuff you can do, of course, with Google Voice. You can take and make calls from here. You can send text messages from here. You have your inbox, you have your contacts, you have your voicemail, text areas, recorded, placed, received, missed. Now, for calling credits, usually for calling credits, these are for international calls. So you're not going to pay for any calls that are locally within the U.S. Okay? Now, you can archive some of this data. You can erase it, delete it. There's several different other things you can do. You mark it as read. There's a whole different thing if you're used to the Gmail setup on how you can categories or context the data here that you want to take and save. You can add notes to different files if you want to remind yourself of different things. Maybe you want to send this or forward this on to somebody. You can do that also. Very cool settings. They're in here. Let's talk about some of the other things you can do. With in here, you've got different numbers that you can assign it to, different emails that you want to send stuff to. You can also put in your voicemail greeting that you want to have people take a listen to, your recorded name, of course, where you want the emails sent to people. You can also add additional places that you want emails sent to, which is really nice if you want to forward it on to your secretary or something of that nature. You can forward text messages to an email. You can, of course, suggest your voicemail pin. And, of course, you can have your voicemails transcribe, which is really super nice. They transcribe, they send them to your email. Most times they get it right. It's pretty cool. The other neat thing is here, when you do calls, you can do call screening. You may have called somebody lately and they go, what's your name? Or they ask for your name and you give your name and they'll say, please wait while Google tries to find the person. So it's pretty neat that way. You can screen some of your unknown callers, or you can just have it off where they directly come to you when you answer the phone. Of Great call screening. If you don't want certain calls coming through you and just want them going to voicemail, you can take and easily do that. You can also listen in as the caller leaves a message and decide if you want to pick up, which is really nice. Caller ID, which is great. When you text a voice number, your call ID is outgoing. You can enable do not disturb periods, missed calls, where to do, what to do, and with them, etc., etc. Neat thing is here with groups, you can set up different groups depending upon how you want to group them as to who the message is forward to. You can almost use this for a small business if you want it, actually. Greetings, you can have different greetings for different people in different groups, and different call screenings for people in different groups. So like if you want all your call screenings from your mom to go directly to voicemail, you can probably do that in here. Your mom may not like it. Call widgets are pretty cool. I have one of these on my blog for about a year. Most people that called the number were just kind of gee whiz people to see if it really worked. And I finally took it down. So you're welcome to put it up. You can put it up on your website or your blog or whatever you want to take and do. It's a great way maybe to get people to call you. When you really think about it, it's a great point of sale or point of service point. You know, if someone's on your website reading your stuff, they decide they really want to talk to you instead of waiting for you to email them back. It's a great way to do that. Who knows if it works? I rarely had people actually call me that were serious. They're just like, oh, I'll see if this works. I get a lot of hang-ups too, which was the same thing. Calling credit, you can put credit in here, of course, and different times that you can put in for the stuff. Now, what happens with Google Voice, if you don't have the iPhone app, when you want to place a call, you put in the number that you want to call to, and then you connect. Now, what it will do is it will call the phone that you've assigned for it to take and call, and then once you pick up, it will begin calling the person you want to take and call, which is pretty nice and pretty neat. The nice thing is you don't have to sit there and hand off your phone. You don't have to look for numbers. You can run everything from your computer or your Gmail if you want to keep centralized. It's a great way to do it. Let's talk about the next thing you can do with Google Voice. Now this is the iPhone app. I believe it's already set up on the Android with Google. But with the iPhone app, you can now do this. This is an app that will cost you $2.99. It's highly worth the money. I would get a hold of it while you still can. It was really hard for this to get into the Apple iPhone store. So here's some of the screenshots you can see. It looks pretty much and has some of the same features and controls as the website does, which is really nice. Beauty of this is you can dial directly from it on your iPhone. You can direct out on your Google Voice number, which is really beautiful. Of course, they can come into you directly on this thing, but I believe you'd have to have the app activated. So pretty neat stuff. You can control Google Voice from here. One thing I do like about it is I have my iPad all the time, and I usually get too lazy when I want to text a friend to go looking for my iPhone, and that or I crawled into bed, left my iPhone across the room on the charger. So a lot of times I'll just go ahead and using Google Voice app here, I'll use it off my iPad to go ahead and text back and forth to my friends, which is pretty cool. It, of course, won't call from my iPad. We haven't figured that one out yet, but who knows what the future may hold. Anyway, it's not quite a competitor with Skype. As you can see, it's got a lot of different features than Skype, and I would of course keep Skype. I love Skype for international calling, and I love Skype for doing all my business. I normally reserve the number that I have for Google Voice. This is one of my other accounts, but the Google number that I use is a 310 number, which is Los Angeles. Now, I live in Las Vegas, but I do a lot of business in LA and California. And so I use the 310 number to give people the impression that I'm local and also entice them to call me first, of course, when they're thinking of doing business. I'm very honest, of course, where I actually do work from. But most people, they just, I don't know, there's something about, oh, hey, Chris, he must be around the corner. He's got a 310 number. So you can use it for that purpose if you so choose. Maybe you live in a rural city and you want to make it look like you live in the capital of your state or whatever the case may be. So you can use it for that element. Maybe you want to look like you're in multiple states with your company. You've got your cell phone for your business, and you can put your Google Voice in Miami or London, or, well, I don't know if they have London on here. You'll have to check with them, but maybe New York or something. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for coming by the ChrisVossShow.com. Be sure to check back daily. Call my consulting firm so that you can learn how to rock and roll on social media and business marketing. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.